Welcome to the Draft Brewery. Dr. Chris Baker, DC, here again. Got a little deck tech update for the Mono Red Control brew that I had 2 weeks ago. Last week, I was out of town in Phoenix for Pickleball National Championship, so wasn't able to. I was able to play a few rounds of SPDC in the morning, but I played a Mono Blue Flash deck, went 3-0, and then I had to leave, so wasn't able to continue with that deck. I liked it, but I don't think it could ever beat Thermo Alchemist because it had no real answers to it. Then I was stuck in an airport all day on Monday, and I wanted to play Mono Red in the against the MPDC crowd because I think this is the actual best deck that I could present to the tournament. And I was winning round one, game one, and I was ahead game two, and then my Windows 10 auto restarted, and it took literally 4 hours or something to go through 15,000 restarts to load new updates, and I kind of got shafted. So I wanted to run this deck back, and I had some updates for you. So a couple things that have changed and some that haven't. The mana base has not changed. 23 lands, all untapped, is very nice. Lightning Axe number 4 got added. This card is overperforming. This deals with a lot of things at instant speed, and if they get a little bigger, it's great. And it works with enabling the Fiery Temper and Alchemist Greeting. Again, with 4 Lightning Axe, 1 Alchemist Greeting, 4 Flame Lash, we've got enough self-assembler answers. And kind of the attack approach that I wanted to apply to the format is I wanted 4 power dudes to be able to get through self-assembler. And so that's why things like Borderland Marauder and Thriving Grubs aren't making the cut. It's because they don't do anything as late game top decks. But Brazen Wolves is basically a 4-3 for 3 since I'm almost always attacking. And I found Brazen Wolves to be very, very good in this deck. But this is a little gem that I wanted to test out this week that was new, in that Blood Mad Vampire I thought was pretty sweet because it could also trade with Self-Assembler, could potentially grow. But I really like the thought of potentially like end of turn Lightning Axe, discarding Blood Mad Vampire, killing their big blocker, and basically giving Blood Mad Vampire a pseudo haste. And just more madness outlets for the Cathartic Green and Tormenting Voice, which are the engine that makes the deck tick by always drawing cards and always being able to get rid of excess lands or madness outletting the Tempers and the Greeting, and now this Blood Mad Vampire. Still need the bombardments, and they scale pretty well. The Flame Lash is doing pretty great. Yeah, so the deck's pretty simple, just a little bit of a tweaking of the cutting some Alchemist Greeting and cutting some Pyrehound, Brazen Wolves, and getting some more Lightning Axe in there. But yeah, deck's pretty great. Sideboard changes. I wanted to add 1 Rush of Adrenaline. There's a lot of red removal that deals with our toughness, and if we can pump 1 toughness for 1 mana, sometimes that saves the creature. Also, when you attack with a self-assembler and they block with their self-assembler, turning it into a 6/5 trample saves it, but also deals 2 extra points of trample damage, which is potentially nice. So that'd be a good trick, like with Brazen Wolves as well. They could be blocking it with like a 3/2, and they think they're trading, but then you turn it into a 6/4 and get in for like 4 damage and kill their guy and save your guy. Just pretty nuts trick, I think, for 1 mana. So pretty good. Boiling Earth in case they are token decks around. Second Blood Mad Vampire if we just need, typically against control decks where we just want to up our threat count. When things like Lightning Axe or Galvanic Bombardment are not good, we can cut them and just put in more threats. Went up to the full 4 Touch of the Void. I think I was debating between Chandra Spire Helix and this, but this being able to deal with 3 toughness things is big, and exiling things is big, but also being able to go to the face is big. The post-sideboard strategies can sometimes be the opponent's deck might have so much creature removal, we're just never going to win with Self-Assembler and Thermo Alchemist and Brazen Wolves. So if they're flooded on creature removal, we might as well just cut some of our creatures and just start torching him or her to the face with Touch of the Wood. So that's a new addition of just trying to go full 4 of to kind of have a burn sideboard plan. The two hijacks I think are pretty strong against again Eldrazi. Anything anything that can basically block a self-assembler, really like a 4/5 or bigger. There's a 4/6 in the format, and there's like 7/8 and 8/9s, right? So being able to hijack those guys will turn on our attack and get rid of their block and just crush them basically. And then Pyrehound I still think is very good. It's just actually a little slow for what this deck is trying to do. But I do like having additional threats. And so when I need additional threats, I'll bring Pyrehound in. And I especially like it against red removal, right? Because if you play it and then immediate play like Tormenting Woes plus Fiery Temper right after it, you turn it into a 4/5. And so you get it out of range of things very quickly. And some more Alchemist Greetings in case we are not. I mean, I'm assuming we're playing against self-assembler decks, but in case we start playing against like Pima Outrider decks and other decks that are just loaded with like 3 and 4 toughness guys. So that's the deck. Not too much different than it was 2 weeks ago, but little tweaks here and there. So let's take it for a spin for SPDC 5.06. It's hard to keep track of these days, but yeah, stay tuned for some tournament action.